welcome to People's Voice on VOP Television, where the stories that matters most take center stage as we continue to amplify the concerns, stories, perspectives, and voices of the Nigerian people. That's you and I. I am Adefunke Jaisimi. And today on People's Voice, we are shining the spotlight on something that seems like a trouble at home for Vice President Kashim Shettima, as the All Progressives Congress APC stakeholders from the Northeast geopolitical zone in Nigeria have advised President Tinubu to drop Vice President Kashim Shettima as his running mate or risk losing votes from the area in 2027. But first, let's begin with this new update as the West African Senior School Certificate Examination WASC results have been released, showing a significant decline in performance. Unfortunately, only 38.32% of candidates obtained credits and above in a minimum of 5 subjects, including English language and mathematics, compared to 72.12% in 2024, barely 12 months ago. This represents a 33.8% decline in performance. But here's the key statistics. A total of 1,969,313 candidates sat for the examination this year, with only 754,545 candidates, that's the 38.32%, obtaining credits in 5 subjects and above, including English language and mathematics. They also have the success rate for male students, which is about 46.1%. That's 347,192 males. And of course, success for the female candidates is about 53.99%. That's approximately 54%, and that's estimated for 407,353 female candidates. And yes, there is a part of withheld results where 192,089 candidates' results were withheld due to examination malpractice, and this accounts for 9.75% of the total number that wrote the examination. But the reasons for the withheld results, according to YX, says that there was increased use of cell phones in the examination hall despite the ban, and organized cheating in some schools, also known as special centers. But of course, a lot of reactions have told these results updates, with stakeholders sharing their thoughts on this decline. For the Nigerian Union of Teachers and UT, they blame system failure, citing poor conditions under which candidates wrote some papers, especially English language. There's also the part of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, who have described the condition under which students wrote papers as terrible and calls for a holistic review of education sector immediately. Finally, the National Parents Teacher Association of Nigeria, NAPTAN, attributes poor performance to a combination of factors, including inadequate teachers, lack of textbooks, and poor school infrastructures. These organizations have the authority to speak because they play important roles in Nigeria's education sector, representing teachers, students, and parents, respectively. But let's look into more news stories with details as ADC's crisis deepens, with concerned state chairman urging INEC to resist illegal leadership change. So here's the story. The concerned state chairman of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, have called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to resist any pressure to recognize an illegal change of leadership in the party. The group condemned the alleged orchestrated political coup led by Senator David Mark and others, describing it as a desperate power grab and an aberration of democratic norms. They urged INEC, the Nigerian public, civil society organizations, and international observers to monitor and resist this development. But away from that story, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, has reduced the pump price of petroleum, increased price of petrol motor spirit PMS to 915 naira per liter in Lagos and 955 per liter in Abuja. And this is the update on the prices, looking at how 5 marketers have also initially slashed their depot prices to 82 naira per liter, increasing competition in the downstream sector. But yes, another story says that retired soldiers protest, MBP points to communication lapses. So Nigerian Pensions Board, MBP, has attributed a protest by retired soldiers to a communication gap between relevant authorities and the aggrieved retirees. The MBP explained that some grievances raised by the protesters were beyond its statutory mandate, citing budgetary limitations as a reason for not meeting up with their demands. Still in the news, Ekiti State Governor Mr. Biodun Oyebanji has declared his intention to run for a second term in office, citing overwhelming public support and his administration's achievements. He emphasized his commitment to democratic principles and internal democracy within the party. But at the end of the day, it's left for the people of Ekiti State to consider I think that's a request for the people to vote for him. So it's left for the people of Ekiti to see if they want him back or not. But let's talk about governorship aspirations ahead of the 2027 elections in Ogun State. Abayomi Honye, a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress APC and governorship hopeful in Ogun State, has outlined his motivations for seeking the top office. He advocates for zoning the governorship to Ogun West Senatorial District, citing fairness and justice. Honye has highlighted his experience and performance as key factors in his bid, emphasizing empowerment of youth and infrastructure development as core priorities. Well, these are some of the stories in the news at the moment, but we've explored these stories and more, and there's so much to talk about too. But we want to hear from you. We want to get your feedback. We want to have you react to some of those stories, and of course, get your thoughts on the conversations that we'll be having here in the studio. So do well to call in or text us via WhatsApp to share your thoughts with us on 090-447-32-605. 090-447-32-605. Follow us on social media at VOP TV Live. You can also use the hashtag People's Voice on VOP TV. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV. Kindly hit the subscribe button, and together we can make our voices heard. That's all for now. We'll be right back after this break to put better perspectives to the outcry of the Northeast stakeholders on the choice of Senator Kashim Shettima as Vice President in President Tinubu'S re-election ahead of 2027. Please stay with us. Welcome back to People's Voice on VOP Television. So here's the details of the internal issues. I mean, this is like having issues with your own brothers. But APC stakeholders from the Northeast geopolitical zone have expressed major concerns over Vice President Kashim Shettima's perceived marginalization of other states in the region in favor of Borno State. They have emphasized and advised President Tinubu to drop Shettima as his running mate in the 2027 elections, citing his alleged selective appointments and lack of inclusivity. According to the stakeholders, Shettima has favored only Borno State in appointments and projects, neglecting other states in the Northeast region, including Adamawa, Bauchi, Yobe, Taraba, and Gombe State. The stakeholders also criticized Shettima for reinstating Muhammad Alkali Goni as the managing director of the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, allegedly to favor Borno State. This move has sparked frustration among party chieftains who feel that Shettima is working against the ideals and ideologies of the Tinubu administration, that's the Renewed Hope administration. And some stakeholders have also said the reason for defection to other parties were actually due to the perceived neglect by Shettima and the All Progressives Congress. Stakeholders have also warned that if Shettima is not replaced, the APC may lose votes from the Southeast region in 2027 elections. They advised President Tinubu to replace Shettima with a more popular and vibrant person as a running mate to guarantee massive votes from the region. Additionally, they urged Shettima to carry along major stakeholders from the Northeast region and avoid favoring only his stooges for federal appointments. But it's politics. The fate of Shettima's political career hangs in the balance as the stakeholders' demands are being considered. But one would say, who are the people considering it? At the end of the day, it's still a long time to decide whose fate or who becomes Tinubu's running mate, as there have been no direct conversation around that from the president or his team so far. But it's never a one-man show on People's Voice. I'm now being joined virtually by Mr. Teslim Adebayo, a virtual assistant, media strategist, and researcher, to do justice to some of the questions we'll be asking about the issues on Tinubu and Kashim Shettima ahead of 2027 elections. Good afternoon, Mr. Adebayo.
Good afternoon.
All right, many thanks for joining People's Voice. Let's dive deep straight into the issues now. You heard it. People from the Northeast region are saying that the Vice President Kashim Shettima has been marginalizing other states within the region, therefore favoring only persons or politicians from Borno State and people that have direct access to him. In your opinion, what specific actions do you think the president can take to address the concerns of the APC stakeholders in the Northeast region regarding Vice President Kashim Shettima? Or do you think this shouldn't be a problem to the president?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yes, we could recall during the 2023 election, the Northeast, especially Borno State, gave strong electoral support. Dropping Kashim Shettima right now may be perceived as a betrayal in a regional setting. And you know that Northeast, as a region in Nigeria, still battling insecurity and are still healing from marginalization. These can trigger resentment among Northerners or Northern political elites, especially from the Northeast, who may view the move as a disrespect to their zone's loyalty. If President Tinubu must replace VP Shettima, he should only do so with extensive consultation and regional buy-in. Perhaps even replacing him with another strong northern or northerners rather, not from Borno, but from places like Adamawa, Bauchi, or Gombe, to calm the Borno-centric narrative. So I don't think dropping him we help him, to be honest.
You don't think dropping Kashim Shettima will help Bola Tinubu or Kashim Shettima or the Borno State?
The president, I mean.
Okay, the president.
The loyalty, yes, the loyalty they gave him during the 2023 general elections must be respected amidst anything.
Okay, well, it's about elections, it's about results here. But how might the perceived marginalization of other states in that region allegedly by the vice president impact APC's chances in 2027? Because if you say that holding on to Kashim Shettima is important for Bola Tinubu's re-election, we need to also understand that there are more than one state, there's more than one state in that region with other states calling for a replacement of his candidacy. So how can this perceived marginalization affect Tinubu's chances in 2027 elections?
Thank you. There's something we call balanced perception with performance. President Bola Tinubu must try to balance the bonocentric brouhaha. People are saying the president only favors Kashim Shettima Borno State due to the fact that they pledged their support to the president before the 2023 general elections. What I can advise the president to do is, rather than drop Shettima, the president can just accelerate federal projects in Adamawa, Bauchi, Gombe, Yobe, and Taraba. And we can also give visibility to them in terms of appointments or party positions to key players from these states.
Okay, you've talked about the loyalty. You're saying that because of the loyalty and what was given to President Bola Tinubu ahead of the 2023 election, but you also need to understand that this is a region. It's not about Borno. It's not just Borno that voted in that election. It's a region that captures both Adamawa, Bauchi, Yobe, Taraba, and Gombe State. So do you think that the interest of these people should be overlooked because the choice of vice president came from Borno State? And the fact that they also talked about appointments that have not been fair to them, citing the case of Kashim Shettima reinstating Muhammad Al-Khaligoni as the managing director of the Northeast Development Commission, who is also from Borno State. Do you think we need to put all of this aside and not even understand or pay attention to what these people are saying and what should be done beyond infrastructure, which is the right of every Nigerian?
No, I didn't say that. I say that. You know, in politics, everything must be balanced. You understand? Everything must be balanced so that we can live in unity, prosperity, and the government can be continuum. You understand? My other advice for President Tinubu is that he can just launch a Northeast economic roadmap, which Kashim Shettima can just be a coordinator to that region for a broader regional
Kashim Shettima to be the one in charge of a project to favor the people, and they are complaining about Kashim Shettima. Do you think Kashim Shettima... Okay, go ahead.
If President Tinubu drops Kashim Shettima, it will affect the North. You understand? I'm just trying to portray or bring out what can be done.
Okay, so these are the people saying that it's not President Tinubu that has come out to say whether he's running with Kashim Shettima or not. It's the people from the southeast where Kashim Shettima comes from that have come out to say that they do not want Kashim Shettima to return as vice president and have advised the president. So this is how this thing is going. It's his own people that have come to advise the president to pick another candidate around that election. But it's not ours to decide. I want to know, how do you think, what do you think Kashim Shettima can do, or how can he work to rebuild trust and confidence among his own people, especially the APC stakeholders in the southeast region?
Good. That was why I mentioned that Kashim Shettima should be made coordinator in some of the projects in Northeast so that he can communicate the policies of the renewed hope administration to his people that, oh, please, you guys, you are not left behind, and it should be balanced in that region. It should communicate President's vision, not just strategy. You understand? Whether President Tinubu keeps or replaces Shettima, clearly explanation must be given to them in retaining or the rationale behind the choice politically, ethnically, and strategically. Avoid making it look like a panic move or a reaction to pressure. So, in my own opinion, President VP Shettima can be made, or a lot of investments to be channeled in the Northeast region.
Okay, they've talked about marginalization, they've talked about appointments that have gone to people in Borno State, but the Northeast Development Commission is supposed to be like a commission that is working for the people in that region, and basically that's the assignment of the commission. What role do you think that commission can play in addressing the development needs of the region and mitigating the impact of perceived marginalization? What can be done differently from what's currently happening? You've already suggested that they should put in more projects in that region. So how can that commission come in?
First and foremost, let's just agree with me that the commission was just created. You understand? The commission was just created. So this commission aims to ensure security, peace, prosperity in the region, and infrastructural development. You understand? So about Northeast Development Commission, that's all I can say about it.
Okay. For the APC, it's more like internal issues, obviously, because you know how it happens within political parties. Even after every election, you have people that are aggrieved, people that feel like, oh, we've done so much for the party, we invested so much in the party's success, and we are not getting enough. The party is preparing for the next election ahead of 2027, and of course there's been a lot of opposition to the All Progressives Congress leadership. There is even a coalition at the moment under the umbrella of the African Democratic Congress, and yes, a Labour Party is still in existence. We have SDP and of course PDP, and I mean it's about 2 years to go, so we might even wake up to more political alliances to unseat Bola Tinubu ahead of 2027. So it's quite delicate when it comes to decision making at this point. But how do you think the APC's internal dynamics and power struggle will affect the party's chances in 2027 election, particularly on issues around the choice of running mate? There's been a lot of speculation around having some other persons coming into the party. People have been projecting towards Mirabiu Kwakwanso, and a lot of permutations have been going on. But yes, just like the time they chose their party chairman, the permutation failed because a lot of people were projecting Al Makura, but at the end of the day, we saw a totally different candidate. So how can they deal with the internal dynamics and power struggles ahead of the 2027 elections so they can get maybe a good play? Because you know what they say about a divided house. We know what happened with Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
Okay, thank you. So me, I don't think there is a party that can beat APC in 2027.
You think so?
Irrespective of, I don't think so. I don't think so, to be honest. Even with a divided house or internal conflict or whatsoever, there's no party for now as it stands. We have 23 governors. Let's not forget that. They have a lot of roles to play in the upcoming general election. So the only thing I can say about the 2027 election, if at all President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to replace Shettima, he should just try and look for a northern Christian from the northeast, a strong northern Christian from the northeast or north central area for a balanced religious narrative.
So are we going to religion? Okay, let me let you land. Go ahead.
Then you can just look for a pan-north figure acceptable across multiple northern sub-regions, not just one ethnic or religious bloc. I feel like that. So if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should replace VP Kashim Shettima, he should just overcompensate with massive developmental investment and party structural inclusion across the northeast. And he must do that before the election, not during the campaign.
Okay, well understood. You talked about not seeing a party that is viable enough to unseat Bola Ahmed Tinubu ahead of 2027. Why did you make this assertion?
Okay, now, in the political space or on X, which is formerly known as Twitter,
okay,
they gave Malam Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, they gave him a new name, Alvaro Murata of Nigerian politics.
What did you say?
It's some Alvaro Murata of Nigerian politics. Alvaro Murata is a player in Europe. He changes club often and often.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he changes club often and often. In the last 4 months, Malam Nasir El-Rufai has changed three parties already. So can that person challenge the mandate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027?
Malam El-Rufai is not the only one in the coalition. We have David Mark as the chairman. We have Rauf Aregbesola as the secretary. We have Atiku Abubakar as the party man. We have Rotimi Amechi. We have many other party members that have not been given positions that is where, and we have many other political elites who are standing in solidarity with the coalition, saying that even though they would not decamp, they might be supporting the coalition. And you see how the defections have been. I mean, defecting up to 5,000 people at once from one political party to a coalition 2 years before the next election. Don't you think that is a moment that cannot be stopped, movement that cannot be stopped?
It can be stopped. It can be stopped. Now, was it not last month on X, because I use X a lot, obedience, which are normally called Zombidents, you know, Peter Obi's followers, they said something.
Please, your choice of word. Just go ahead without any name calling, yes. Please.
Yeah, all right. They said, if he didn't get the ticket, they will vote for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That they don't want him to deputize anybody, and vice versa to the PDP presidential candidates then. So I don't think anybody can challenge the mandate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu out of them. To be honest, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the Waziri of Adamawa, he has changed party numerous times just because of the mandate. Now they are all desperate to get to the presidency. What they have, what kind of things do they have for the people? Nothing. When you are desperate to become the president. Now let me give you statistics. He has changed from PDP 3 times in 18 years. It shows desperation. I can smell desperation here.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu led a coalition to unseat the incumbent Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Does that not speak desperation to you? And power, they say, is not given. You have to wrestle for power, no matter how much intent you have to transform the lives of the people. So what justifications are around people decamping or defecting parties not morally upright to lead the people? There are no justifications.
Let's see. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu didn't change our party. One party led to another.
Yeah.
You understand? Coalition. Yes, they challenged the then President Ebele Goodluck Jonathan. Yes. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wasn't on ballot then. He never said he wanted to contest for presidency then. He never said so. He never said so. But these people arranged coalition just to grab. They said, we want to take power from him. Look at Right Honorable Rotimi Amishi. He said something like, I'm hungry. So you were a minister under late President Buhari, the Minister of Transportation there, and you came second in the party's primary in 2022. How can you say you are hungry? Not every Nigerian is hungry.
A lot of Nigerians are hungry. They speak for...
but not every.
They speak for the masses. They speak for a lot of people. Understandable when you try to talk about those that were part of the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration. But
yes,
out there, a lot of Nigerians do not understand what the reforms are, how the reforms are impacting our economy. What matters to an everyday citizen is ability to afford food and access healthcare. I think that is fair for every citizen to ask for, or is that too much to demand from a government?
It's not too much. It's not too much. And I think that's the job of the National Orientation Agency, to just push out all the achievements of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in his administration. The president has done a lot. We must give kudos to that. It's not easy to remove fuel subsidy on the first day. Fuel subsidy is a lot of corruption. Yes, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu really tried.
But the lives of the people, the lives of the people have, what does he have to show for the lives of people? People are going through a tough time, inflation, cost of living has been on the rise, and Nigerians are grappling with basic amenities. So whatever the presidency is doing, maybe there's more that needs to be done for Nigerians to see.
We can always demand better. You understand? We can always ask for better. Why is everyone so keen on the presidency? What is our state government doing? They are part of the government too. Why are we omitting them out of these problems? Because I can call it problems.
Right.
Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, since his inauguration, the allocation of each state has doubled, if not tripled. What are they doing with all those things? What is our state government doing with all those funds? We gave them palliatives. For a fact, ever since I've been born, I've never heard that the federal government didn't release allocation to a state unless there is a problem, which President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was the governor of Lagos State in 2007, then tackled with the then President Olusegun Obasanjo. Now, they're River State now. So what is our state government doing with all those funds? Why is everyone so focused on the federal government? Why? At least the last time I checked, it seems the allocation ratio or percentage for state government is 26%. Why can't they just leave local governments alone? Why?
Well, these are questions that are begging for answers, but let's still go back into the internal dynamics and wrangling within the All Progressives Congress, especially in the Northeast region, regarding the replacement or reappointment of Vice President Kashim Shettima. If APC fails to address the concerns of stakeholders, do you fear for the party losing in the Northeast region?
I didn't fear because they will address it. They will address it. Now we have a new chairman. So it's going to be resolved. I didn't count that as a problem. In fact, all these coalition stuff, I didn't count them as problem. President Tinubu is a person that has left government for the past 16 years before he became president. Now, he wasn't beaten then. Now that he became the president, do you think he can be beaten? And let me tell you something. President Tinubu is not Goodluck Ebele Jonathan then. Yet this one has fought so many people.
So what are you insinuating? What do you mean by is not Goodluck Ebele Jonathan? Are you indicating, or are you suggesting that he would not step down if he lost the election? Are you saying that he would not accept the result of the outcome of 2027 election if it doesn't favor him? Because everything Jonathan is known for was the fact that results were announced, and he told his followers that this is the way to go. Congratulated the president-elect, that's the late Muhammadu Buhari, and left office. So what do you mean by Jonathan Buhari, Tinubu is not Goodluck Ebele Jonathan?
Yeah, I didn't say that. What I meant is that there were so many internal crises that rocked PDP then, that led to the transition of government. But I believe in the person of President Tinubu is strategist. He's a strategist rather. He's strategic.
Okay, so you're attributing the internal crisis of the PDP at the time to weakness, one of the weakness that affected Jonathan's re-election, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how can President Bola Tinubu, you already established the fact that there's a new sheriff in town, talk about the new APC chairman, but yes, he must also work alongside with the National Working Committee of the APC, and of course the president is very, very important in this conversation. So how do you think President Tinubu can balance the need to address the concerns of APC stakeholders across board? This is beyond the Northeast now, ahead of the 2027 election, just to address or maintain party unity and cohesion.
This new chairman, we address so many issues, loopholes. Yes, he has been touring since he became the chairman of the All Progressives Congress since last month. He has been touring, he has been trying to address some issues, some loopholes, trying to close them. So I believe in his capacity that he's going to work things out. And I'm sure by the special grace of God, the Northeast will feel better.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your submission. Please do well to stay on the call. We need to go on a break now. When we return, we'll come to talk about the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, which is set to commence the continuous voter registration exercise on August 18, 2025. Please stay tuned. Many thanks for staying with People's Voice on VOP television. Yeah, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is set to commence the continuous voter registration CVR exercise on August 18, 2025, with online pre-registration starting on the same day, and in-person registration will begin a week later on August 25, 2025 at INEC local government area offices and designated registration centers nationwide. The registration exercise will run from Mondays to Fridays between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily. But here are some key points to note ahead of this process. So the CVR exercise is designed for eligible Nigerian citizens who have turned 18 since the last registration, or those who couldn't register previously. There's also the part of online pre-registration, which will precede physical registrations, allowing citizens to initiate the process remotely before visiting registration centers nationwide. And of course, in-person registration will take place at INEC local government areas offices and designated centers across the nation. The registration centers will be made public for Nigerians to be able to access and understand how to go about this process. But yes, the civil society organizations, CSOs, have raised concerns about the registration process, citing the need for improved access. They talk about expanding registration centers beyond local councils to reduce distances and barriers for voters. They also talk about technology integration, citing cases of harnessing technology to streamline the process, reduce congestion, and enhance efficiency. And a lot of suggestions have come around voter register cleanup, which is quite important at a time like this because it's important to clean the existing voter register to eliminate errors, duplicate entries, and diseased individuals. But it's a problem when we do not have accurate data because how exactly do INEC or does INEC know who is late and how to go about this? But it's important that these suggestions are thoroughly considered and, of course, it's to enable INEC get the best of this process. But the CSOs have also recommended that INEC take urgent steps to decentralize and digitize this registration process, building on models like online pre-registration used during the COVID-19 pandemic. There's also conversations around focus on delivering a seamless and people-centered experience, deploying mobile registration units to hard-to-reach communities, and ensuring timely communication with the public. So this is the latest update on the continuous voter registration, which will begin in a matter of weeks. But yes, let me return to my guests. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so let me first get your reaction to this update from INEC saying that the continuous voter registration exercise will begin on the 18th of August and the physical exercise will start off on the 25th of August. How do you react to this?
Yes, that's a great development. That's a nice development.
Okay.
People should just go get their voter registration ready and come to the polling unit and vote. It's expected, it is compulsory for every Nigerian to have a voter's card. So as if you want to show your grievances, you can just show it during the poll.
Right, you take your anger to the polling units and vote your candidates, your choice candidates. That's important. But what are the potential implications of the continuous voter registration exercise on the electoral process in Nigeria? How important is this process preceding major elections?
All I can say is that it's a great thing. It's a great thing. At least it creates awareness. Then something should be done through the NOA, political participation awareness.
Okay.
So that the NOA can just, or INEC can just create awareness for people to know the implication if you don't vote, or the implication if you just sit down, blabbling online or behind your keypad, and you are not in the polling unit. How do you want to talk to the government, or how do you want the country to be better when you don't get involved in the electoral process or political participation?
Yeah, totally understandable. You've suggested that INEC do more publicity and NOA, that's the National Orientation Agency. But in your opinion, how can these two agencies work together for the betterment of Nigerians? I mean, the more aware Nigerians are, the better it is for us to have a smooth electoral process. So how can the Orientation Agency work with INEC without having any issues? Because we know how these things work.
They can work together. They can just collaborate. They can just try it and do some either town hall meetings or door-to-door campaigns. It will help a lot. Tell them that it is a must you vote as a citizen of Nigeria or as a bona fide member of this country. It is a must you vote. It is a must you participate. So they can do door-to-door campaign or town hall meetings They can do it anyhow. I don't just know how they want to do it. They can go online, flyers, publications, everything. But nowadays, people don't just read dailies anymore.
Exactly.
They um, listen to radios, so they can just go to the radio stations and book 1 hour interview with the radio stations, then continue with your publicity or your awareness.
But there's a recent development of deployment of technology in CVR process. How do you think this will impact voter turnout and participation in future elections?
It will go a long way. In fact, it's one of the best decisions or initiatives ever since we have been doing elections in Nigeria. Yes, I could remember vividly in 2023, I was part of the ad hoc staff then. So it makes our work very easy and make it fast. So unlike the manual again that we were using, it makes it very fast, easy, can I say effortlessly.
Okay, you talked about serving as an ad hoc staff in the last election. What do you say to the reaction of people or the disappointment Nigerians had when the results could not be uploaded? Talk about technical glitch. Do you think that Nigerians have lost trust in the system?
It's part of the INEC constitution that they can post or they can post manually. It's one of the INEC regulations or rules and regulations that if there are glitches, we can do it manually. Now, where I did my ad hoc, wherever, there was no service. So we have to do it, we have to transmit manually.
Where was that? Can you tell us where that happened? Where was that?
In Ondo State.
Okay.
In fact, it's a community, no service, nothing.
And the people didn't have any problem. They were not apprehensive after the process.
At all.
But
most of them followed us to our headquarters then.
Maybe we can make a case for rural areas or maybe areas where network reception have never been really good. But in cases where cities, urban areas are having issues with uploading results, don't you think that it's okay or it's normal for citizens around this place to think that there is a reason or there is a plan to manipulate the results?
Yes, there is a reason, to be honest. But it's one of the work of the other staff to tell them, this is what is happening. I am unable to upload the results. We can just go to the headquarters, or I can just transmit manually. You let them know before the election opens.
Before they start voting?
Yes, tell them. We were told then.
Okay, so put us through. As an ad hoc staff, what is the standard? What were you supposed to do at this point to get to the polling unit? What is supposed to happen in the course of election and after? And if there are technical issues, how are you supposed to go about it?
Yes, we can just call on our bosses to come help us out.
But tell us from the beginning what the process is like. What are you supposed to do when you get to the center in the morning? Because you were saying that the ad hoc staff should be able to educate the people and tell them.
You gather people and tell them about everything, electoral processes, by pasting all our EVR, E16, everything, posters on the wall. Then you gather people around, tell them everything. This is the work of the ad hoc staff one. Yes.
So at the end of the election,
at the end of the election, he or she announces the results
manually. Then, okay, verbally first before uploading.
Yes, we will count. People will be there. Everything will be done in their presence.
So when the results are announced, are the agents supposed to sign something, or is there some level of acknowledgement that happens so that it can be made as evidence in case of any court cases?
Yes, they will be made to sign.
Okay, to accept the results.
yes, they will receive their own sheets of results.
Okay, but people are supposed to come to register for election. We saw a lot of turnout ahead of 2023 elections, and we saw that at the end of the day, the turnout was, people actually registered for they did the voter registration, but a lot of people did not participate in elections because they probably do not trust the electoral process that leads to the emergence of winners at the end of the day. So this is 2025. What do you suggest can be done differently by INEC, the National Orientation Agency, and the government at large to maybe win the trust of the people, and so people will understand that the voter card is not just an ID card. It's something that you're supposed to own for a purpose, and Nigerians should be able to be interested in investing in participating in electoral processes.
That's why I said the PRs, radio interviews, TV interviews, awareness. It is very, very important. Anytime there is something, awareness must be made prior to that event. So it is a must. The government, INEC, and NOA collaborate together to ensure transparency, accountability, and free and fair electoral process in the upcoming general election.
Okay, so finally, let's talk about civil society organizations. We know how elections happen here, and we see a lot of reports from different civil society organizations coming to talk about their experiences at different polling units and their experiences across board on how elections went. And they do not just start with elections, they actually do so much talk from registration period like this. So if we've had issues in the past and we are moving forward, we are trying to progress, what role do you think civil society organizations can play in promoting transparency and accountability in this voter registration process?
Yes, thank you. We keep hammering on publicity, awareness, door-to-door campaigns. I'll keep hammering. Yes, let's not forget, the CSO must be included in the awareness session too.
Okay.
For them to be there. If you can come for the election, then you must be there, or you can send a representative for awareness too. So that people will know that, oh, these people are transparent, these people are inclusive. So that's what I can suggest. They must be made to get involved in the processes. That is what we call electoral process. From awareness to polling to results to transmission to announcement. The CSO must be there too. They must be aware, they must be involved.
Okay,
thank
you so much, Mr. Teslim Adebayo. It's been interesting talking to you. Thank you for sharing your insights on the conversation so far today.
Thank you.
All right, to our viewers, as we conclude our discussion on the continuous voter registration exercise, which is a very important one, it's clear that the process holds significant implications for Nigeria's electoral landscape, and it's almost like the passport to accessing your opportunity to select who becomes your leader. So we urge all eligible citizens to participate, and for stakeholders to also ensure the process is transparent enough, inclusive, and efficient. Thank you so much for being a part of this insightful conversation. My name is Adefunke Jaisimi, and as I will draw the curtain on the show today. Good afternoon.